Hey there, everybody. So, yesterday at work, I was just minding my own business, typing on my receptionist desk. And behind my desk is a little counter and some bar stools where members at the gym I work at can come up and talk to me if they need to bother me about something. So I'm just typing at my computer and I see like these little hands come over the side of my counter. Then these little elbows as this little kid clambers up to sit on the bar stool. And he's like, "Hi there." "Well, hi, little fella. Where are your parents?" The boy says, "I have red hair." Yeah, you do, buddy. "And my dad, he weighs 170 pounds. Wow, that's impressive." And then the conversation gets really good because then this little kid says, Do you know Pokemon?" "Heck yeah, I know Pokemon." "Do you know what a hunter evolves into?" "Gengar." And I made a best friend that day. Life is a journey. It's beautiful. You just never know when a friend will come up to you and start talking to you about Pokemon. It's the little surprises like that that gives life a little extra pizzazz. Like discovering a new favorite thriller author. Get back, Riley Sager. Will that hot mess survive the night? There's a new queen in town. Her name is Alice Feeney, and she writes fire. What is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How the heck you doing? Let me get my notes all loaded up on my laptop. So, if you've been here for a while, you know my favorite thriller author has been Riley Sager. I loved Home Before Dark, Lock Every Door, Final Girls, fantastic. However, I was not a fan of Survive the Night. What can you say for a thriller when you guess the villain accidentally? I was just like, oh, it would be a really stupid thriller if it turned out to be that guy. It turned out to be that guy. My least favorite thriller author is actually Ruth Ware. But then she wrote One by One, which I loved. So it's like my whole world is topsy-turvy. But one thing has remained constant. Alice Feeney. May I call you Allie? I feel like we're best friends now. The first book I read by Alice Feeney, I Know Who You Are, nailed it. You know, it's typically really hard in a thriller book to actually flesh out the main character because they're short and they're really fast-paced. We get introduced to our main lady, is typically a lady, get a little bit about her backstory, horrible event happens, she gets thrown into the mix, now she has to solve the mystery. Bada boom, bada bing. That's it. But Alice Feeney does phenomenal work with her main characters. They are so fleshed out, you're literally feeling like you're living and breathing as this main character. In I Know Who You Are, I really sympathized and rooted for the main character. She was just such a small, fragile thing, slowly trying to make her way up and gain more confidence because she came from a horrible backstory, horrible traumas. So I was completely on her team. The ending had me all in a tizzy. I was freaking out, screaming, crying, kind of confused, but mostly happy and really disturbed. All the things I love in a thriller. But for this review, I want to talk about my newest Alice Feeney reads, Rock, Paper, Scissors, and His and Hers. Both I loved. I think I like His and Hers more than Rock, Paper, Scissors, but they're both 5 stars to me. We're going to start with Rock, Paper, Scissors first. Because when I read a thriller, I typically want a very claustrophobic setting, and this one's perfect. We stuck in the snowstorm, baby. In Rock, Paper, Scissors, we have Mr and Mrs Wright, and a lot has gone wrong in their marriage so far. Adam and Amelia happen to win a free getaway to Scotland. They got it from one of those raffle gift bag things, I guess. They get to spend a night out in the countryside at this kind of an old church that's been turned into a B&B. Amelia's like, oh, we can go there, and in the vast snowscape, we shall light a fire that will rekindle our dwindling marriage. Adam, who is a screenwriter, he's like, I just want to go and work. Please leave me alone, baby. Wifey won't let him be alone. So she makes him leave his phone, his laptop, back at the house, and she basically kidnaps him to go on a vacation with her. But there's something a little bit unique about Adam. He suffers from face blindness. He cannot make out anyone's face. Sure, he can recognize voices and colognes and the way people their footstep sounds, but when he's looking at someone, he just cannot put together their face. It's just a blur to him. And even though he does love his wife, he would not be able to pick her out from a police lineup. So that makes things a tad interesting. I actually thought for one time that I had face blindness, but no, I'm just stupid. I can't remember people. Sprinkled throughout the books, we get these past letters of Amelia earlier on in her marriage with Adam, just writing anniversary letters to him. Every anniversary, she'll write him a letter, and basically in that letter, she's just summing up everything that happened within this year of marriage and how much she loves him, all their ups and downs. And it's interesting because currently in the present day, their marriage is struggling. And those little letters give you like a little insight into how it's going to like escalate into the mess they're currently in. So eventually they do get into the church that's turned into a B&B, and some sketchy things start to happen, especially when a snowstorm comes, closes them in, knocks out power, gone, no telephones, gone, and they're pretty sure that there's someone else in the church with them, watching them. It is a spooky setup, and especially, we can't really trust our main characters, because they certainly don't trust each other at their current state in marriage. At one point, Amelia is down in the basement, looking around like a trapdoor cellar, like she has to actually crawl into a hole in the floor to get down and see if she can flip a switch or something to get the electricity back on, and the trapdoor in the ceiling, it just kind of slams on her. She's left all alone, and she has asthma, so she's having a panic attack too, and an asthma attack at the same time. And it's kind of hinted that Adam slammed the trapdoor down, but of course he denies it. Then later on, they're up in like the bell tower, poking around. It was actually taped off. It said, "Hey, do not go in," but they went in. So it's their own fault if they fall. Oh yeah, Adam almost falls to his death, and he's certain that it was Amelia who tried to push him off the bell tower. But she denies it. So is someone actually trying to kill the other person in this church? Is this all a setup? It's an interesting start. And of course all that tension is built up throughout the remainder of the book. Is she trying to kill me? Is he trying to kill me? Who is in this church with us? We can hear their creaks as they move throughout the abandoned halls. It's spooky. And my favorite part of the whole book are the letters that we get to read each anniversary. Because girl, let me tell you, some tea was spilled in those letters. Lies were told, feelings were hurt, wigs were snatched. Again, the best part I have to say, if you're a character-driven reader, do not fret, you get all the character details in this. You got point of views from both Amelia and Adam. They got a cute little doggo, which never tides well in a thriller book. I really need to reread this book. It was just that good. Isn't it weird that I want to like reread a thriller book? But doesn't that just like say how good it is? Same for His and Hers when we get later to that reveal, because that one was even better. So typically in a thriller book, if I'm able to guess like the villain or the twist around like the 60-70%, I consider that good. That's a good point for me to be like, oh, I think I figured it out. Anytime earlier than that, I consider it too easy. Not that good of a thriller. But this one was really good, because if you really think about it, the hints about who our villain is in this book is right there in your face. You just have to like click it. And eventually there's this one point in the book where Adam and Amelia were walking down a hallway, power's out, and they're like looking at all these pictures on the wall. Adam, of course, can't recognize any of the faces in the pictures, so Amelia has to describe to him what's in the frames. And just like everything like kind of fell into place. Ooh, and it was like revealed right after my aha moment what was happening. Like, I guessed it! Yes! My favorite thing about Alice Feeney books is that all of the main characters in all 3 books that I've read, I Know Who You Are, Rock, Paper, Scissors, and His and Hers, none of the main characters are good people. They always have like their little morally gray, sometimes pitch black evil patches all over them, and I love it. I love digging into the dirty bits of our main characters, exposing the tea. This book was so satisfying, seeing all the evil people in the book get what was coming to them. We see this moral grayness even more in His and Hers. But at one point, I think it was like the second fake out, where the book's like, oh, it was this person all along. And I was listening to it on audiobook in my car, and I'm just gripping onto the steering wheel, and I'm mad because I'm like yelling. I'm like, it is physically impossible for that to be the resolution. Anyways, who's our main characters in this book? First off, we have my least favorite thriller trope, the alcoholic main character, Anna. She's a BBC presenter. She's on the news. She wears the cute blazers. She reads the teleprompters. And then we have Jack. Jack is a rough and tough cop who's been living in a small town after seeing some harsh stuff in the big city. They live in like a little cozy town where like nothing ever happens until one day, ooh, a body found. A girl. Mutilated. And Jack and Anna, they're both like, uh-oh, because Anna was in that location during the murder, and Jack personally knows the girl who was murdered and was with her before she got murdered. So if anyone knows that either of these two were involved with this woman at that given time, they're in trouble. But they're both like, we didn't kill her. Let's try and find out who did it. But then more murders keep happening. And these murders are basically all the same. They keep happening in places that Anna keeps visiting. She goes to a school. Hours later, someone's dead in the school. No clues are left at the scene, but all the clues are left in places that belongs to Jack. Like, whoever's doing this is leaving, like, the murder weapons in his car's trunk, the glove box, basically baiting and torturing him. Also trying to implicate him, too. They even leave, like, the murder victim's cell phone in his car, which, if you're into true crime, that's very bad, because if the police triangulate where the cell phone's at, he's in trouble. And so these two unwilling, unlikely acquaintances team up to figure out who the heck is trying to ruin their lives. Oh, and these two might actually know each other. A little too much, too, if you get my drift. They got some past tension, some unresolved conflicts. Maybe this is just one big whole murder scheme. Revenge plot. Someone did someone dirty. This book has a lot of characters in it, so you might want to take a little notepad and write down who's who. Again, Alice Feeney writes phenomenal characters. I love every single person in this, even the evil people. They're great. So even though there is a lot going on in this book, and I didn't actually guess the twist. Well, actually, there's 3 twists going on. The final twist that's revealed at the very last chapter, I did not guess. The second twist, where I was screaming because I was that is physically impossible to have happened, it turned out to be a fake out. So I was so glad the very last twist was revealed instead of ending on the second twist, which was impossible. I was happy sighing. I was thank God. But before the fake out twist and the real twist, there was another twist where we're oh, someone's dead. Oh, no, wait, they're not. Now they're attacking me. This one is more nuanced because why the previously dead person is attacking the person is very complex, and I like that. But it's their identity that is a bit stupid because there was a big, build up. Hype about who this individual was. But their name is eerily similar to the nickname of a past acquaintance of Anna's, so it's not like it's hiding that they're the same person. So that one twist was a bit too easy, but still very satisfying. The way this whole thing just kind of wrapped itself up. The main villain that was ultimately revealed, I never guessed it. Never. Just going over my notes, I just remembered that because I told you that there's ongoing murders and our main duo is kind of being framed for it, one of the people murdered actually turned out to be a very mean, actually evil individual, but they were killed off right at the beginning of the book. And later on, we learn more and more about how awful and sleazy they were. And I was I wish they were still alive so we can drag out their death, because they were just so mean. So mean. And even though I've only read 3 of Alice Feeney's books, I noticed that there's a definitive theme with her endings. Technically, it's a good ending. Quality-wise, yes, but also, yay, we main characters won! Woohoo! But it's also a, I don't think we actually won type of ending. Many laws were violated. Blood has been spilt. We may actually be the villains now, and I like that. It's an open ending, dark ending kind of thing that I love. Who is actually the victor here? Very good. I love the way she ties everything together. If you're into a more cat and mouse game, liar revealed sort of thing, rock, paper, scissors is definitely yours. That's what you want to pick up. If you want a race against time, spicy thriller with a bit of love thrown in, love and hate, my favorite, go with His and Hers. Rock, paper, scissors is primarily just set in one setting, the old abandoned church. His and Hers is spread throughout multiple locations, but in both books, they're all described very well. My thing in thrillers is that I want it fast-paced with as little description as possible. Because if you just tell me they live in a house, I'll imagine a house all by myself. I don't need to know every little detail about it. What's more important in books like these is the spooky atmosphere, the constant I'm being watched feeling. Both these books do phenomenal, but I know some people are oh, I like thrillers, but they're always just in one place. So that's something you might want to take into account when deciding between rock, paper, scissors and His and Hers. If you've read either of these books, any Alice Feeney books, tell me your favorite parts. All my favorite moments are definitely towards the end where everything's revealed and I'm just what the heck? But a good what the heck. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, stay ready, my friends.